My educational background is pretty typical for somebody who goes into my field. Basically, we go through high school, you make a decision to go to college, and once in college, not everybody, but most people I think who come into my field have had some interaction or exposure to art history on the college level. It could be an art history 101 class where they're just getting the basic, from ancient to Picasso and everything in between, or, they have experience with a museum, something of that nature. And then what I did was after college, I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. Going to work in a museum requires a PhD. And a PhD is a lot of work. It's a huge time commitment and it's a huge economic commitment. And so before I did that, I wanted to be sure that that's what I wanted to do. So I actually took 2 years off. And what I did in those 2 years, which I consider a critical part of my education, was I worked at one of the auction houses. I worked at Christie's for a couple of years. And in that time, it allowed me to see, it was another object-oriented kind of outlet, but it was not academic, not seriously academic. I mean, they do require quite a bit of research and connoisseurship. And connoisseurship just means like the ability to look at paintings and sort of identify who they were or what time period. But they're selling things. And so it was a good way for me to see if that was the avenue I wanted to pursue. It's a very lively atmosphere. And I loved the pace of it. It was just that it wasn't my skill set, and my skill set is not as a salesperson. And that's once you sort of climb the corporate ladder there, that's what I was looking at to see 10 years hence, where would I be in this institution if I had stayed there? So then I decided to go to graduate school. And I went back to New York for graduate school and got my master's degree and my doctorate in art history. And during that time, I was doing other jobs and working through other things, teaching a little. Again, I worked at the auction house for a little while just to get a handle on, what it would be like to be an art historian, practically speaking. And I worked through that, and then I basically pounded on some doors and got my first job.